Not too long ago, say 30 or 40 years ago, I was an evangelical leader, or rather the nepotistic sidekick to my evangelist father, Francis Schaeffer. But it put our family toe-to-toe and shoulder-to-shoulder and often in the guest room of a lot of the Republican leadership. My parents stayed in the Lincoln bedroom in the White House with Gerald Ford. I got handwritten notes from Barbara Bush, etc., etc. Point being that back in those days, we Republicans, we right-wingers, we evangelical pro-lifers regarded ourselves as American patriots, and it was those damn Democrats, those left-winger anti-Vietnam people, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll folks who were not patriots. We were patriots, we were pro-military, we were pro-America, we were pro-everything. Now we have a Republican president, 13 Republican senators and a bunch of congressmen and women who are saying that they're trying to overturn a legitimate election that they know was legitimate. And now a tape surfaces, worse than anything that happened in Watergate with Nixon, where the President of the United States is trying to blackmail, strong-arm, pressure, in the style of a mobster being recorded by the FBI, officials in a state looking for them to overturn a democratic election that was run properly. This isn't the stuff of America. This is what Vladimir Putin does, only he's honest. He uses Novichok, the nerve agent, and poisons his enemies. Trump is not a president of the United States. He is a con artist mobster. Evangelicals who follow him are either the stupidest people in the world, the evilest people in the world, or the most deluded. Take your pick. But in any case, what stuns and beggars the imagination of someone like me, who hung around with Jerry Falwell Jr. when we were starting the Moral Majority, and I helped him and Cal Thomas put it all together, with people like Pat Robertson at the beginning of the 700 Club, when he asked me personally to be on his board because I was this hot shit young evangelical, sort of a Ralph Reed in the making. What stuns me is in those days we were the patriots looking at the left-wingers, Jane Fonda, you name it, as the unpatriotic America haters. We were the people who talked about democracy and voting and the United States and our glorious heritage. And we even defended America when it came to slavery. Said, well, in those days, that's how people were. And we've learned since, and the great evil was racism. We've gone from being defenders of America to a Republican Party that now, with a few exceptions, like Mitt Romney, who is standing up to this ridiculous situation, are trying to overthrow an election. And I would just say this to anybody around my age or a little younger or a little older who remembers the, quote, good old days before abortion was legal, when segregation was still going in the South, and when racism was not such a big deal, the good old days when we Christians were moral and we didn't go to our marriage bed having slept with a bunch of people, and when we thought virginity was a big deal. In those good old days that people my age can kind of remember, do you remember we were patriotic? We believed in the American system, and now evangelicals are lying to themselves. People like Franklin Graham are traitors, disgusting traitors to the United States of America. And all these other people that are going along with this charade that Ted Cruz is promoting, this oily, greasy son of a bitch senator who is selling our country down the river for a shot at the presidency so he too can get the vote of deluded white evangelicals who will follow anybody as long as they talk about pro-life or whatever other litmus test shit they've got. And yes, I know I'm pissed off, but you know what? My son was a Marine and he went and fought in Afghanistan for the United States. He didn't fight for this. God damn the Republican Party. If they don't put together a demand that President Trump resign now, tonight, tomorrow morning, based on that tape that got leaked, then they are toast. They might reverse an election. They might win in their lives short term, but they will be remembered as traitors. And I come from this background. And one reason I'm so angry is I'm angry with myself that I was any part of it. My name is Frank Schaeffer.